The Peterson StroboStomp HD pedal tuner. Is it worth £93.33? Let's find out. Hello, welcome to the musician's journey. So the tuner I normally use, well, I've got several tuners, but the one I've been using of late is the TC Electronic Polytune. Very good tuner actually, and up until now I haven't really had any problems with it, but it started playing up. It was very difficult to get notes into tune. It still worked, but it took a lot longer. So I thought, right, new tuner time. I'll get another TC Electronic Polytune. But before I did that, I had a little Google, had a look around, and found out about the Peterson StroboStomp HD, which is a strobe tuner, which by all accounts is the most accurate sort of tuner that you can get. I won't go into the technicalities of it. I've done some reviews, I've had a look, and I can understand why they would say that is the most accurate tuner you can get. The StroboStomp HD. They say it will tune to an accuracy of 0.1 of a cent, so a tenth of a cent. And I'm not going to go into how many cents, and I'm not going to go into that level of detail. This video is not about that, but I am actually going to do a review of the StroboStomp HD and let you know what I think. So here it is over here. If you look at it physically compared to the Polytune, it's a bigger pedal. It's bigger that way, so it's deeper, longer, wider. It's really solidly built, as is the Polytune actually. It's really solidly built. So yes, there's no on off switch. What you've got is a battery compartment here. You've got the input here, a couple of plus and minus keys here for altering values in various menu settings. You've got the actual press switch itself. You've got a little icon that comes on, which is nice, that tells you whether it's muted or not. Not an icon, you've got a little button that comes on that tells you whether it's muted or not. And on the other side you've got a couple of menu up and down buttons and an output, so that you can actually go out onto the rest of your pedal board or straight into your amp or whatever. It also nicely has the ability to be powered by mains. So you've got a mains in there, got a USB connector there so that you can upgrade the firmware, and you can do your own configurations online, because by default out of the box it comes with one configuration, but you can set up other configurations with other different tunings that you want it to have on there. And then you can actually power other pedals from it, so you've got a DC out as well, so that you can power other pedals. So that's what it looks like. To turn it on, you simply plug in a guitar lead, and then, as you can see, it comes on. I've got various settings. So there's about 130 guided settings that you can get with it, and by that, different tunings basically. Guided tunings, I think they're called, with different sweetened tunings as well. And I'm never going to use them all. However, I will use it for electric guitar, acoustic guitar, bass, so I can switch between the various tunings. So you can see at the moment it's set on a guitar tuning. That's the standard out of the box, no specific instrument. That is set to guitar, so it's specially sweetened for 6-string guitars. Then we can go to the acoustic, so again it's specially sweetened for acoustic instruments, acoustic guitar, and then finally I've got it also set for bass, so it's got bass sweetened tuning. Now these tunings actually, it's quite a good little feature that they have. If you press and hold, this is awkward. So if you press and hold that, the switch, and then just hit a string on the guitar, and it will change. So rather than using the menu buttons there, let's tune this guitar up, see how easy it is to use. Now, from what I understand, strobe tuners are slightly more difficult to use than the normal sort of needle or meter tuners because of the strobe. You know, it's what you'll see is, so I'll turn it on, you'll see that circular thing. That what you need to do basically is get that so that it stops moving. It moves counterclockwise if it's flat. So if I make this flat, you can see it's going counterclockwise, and if it's sharp, it moves in a clockwise direction. There you go. Do the A. I'm going to leave the rest because what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to tune this guitar using the Polytune, and then I'm going to compare it, and then I'll tune it again. I'll put it into the StroboStomp. Okay, I think I called it stroboscope a couple of times. Put it into the StroboStomp and see, you know, what differences I get. So I actually just want to show you this. If you're on stage in a dark room, so I'm going to turn my lights off. So if you're on a dark stage and you turn it on, you can see that, you know, it's nice and bright. Each setting can have its own colour. So there we are on guitar, nice and bright green. So what I'm going to do is go through some of the menus now. If you press it, whatever's flashing is the menu item that you're going to be adjusting. If you don't press anything again, that will stop flashing and it will just reset to what it was, or if you've made a change, it will save the change. But it just stays, it only stays on that menu for as long as you're pressing things. If you stop pressing it, off it goes. So we go back to guitar. So from this we can change the different presets that we've got. We also know we can do that with the foot switch. I'll show you how to turn that on and off in a minute. So the next menu setting is settings. So here we've got the global colour. So at the moment, any screen that I haven't set a particular colour to will be on whatever colour I've got set here, which at the moment is this sort of cyan colour. This shows you the hardware version. That allows you to do a factory reset. This P allows you to turn on and off the ability to do this remote changing while pressing that and triggering a string on the guitar. That is auto order of the presets. So that means that it will choose the ones that you use most frequently and put them to the top of the list so that you can, you don't have to flick through 130 of them. This is the configuration that you've got in use. So by default, I've got the default one. If I connect to Peterson Connect and set up other configurations, I can download them onto this. This is the accidentals menu. So whether it's set to show sharps. So if you're playing a note that's like a C sharp, it would be C sharp, or flats, which would be a D flat, or both. And it will use the most sort of commonly used flat or sharp, depending on which note you're on. Then we've got octave on. This will show you the octave number of the note that you're playing. Now this is where you can turn on and off the ability to see these particular presets. So I've got guitar turned on, I've got acoustic turned on. This one, DAD, whatever that happens to be. I looked at it, it's not one I was going to use. 125, these are all the different sweetened tunings, and you can see I've got them all turned off. And this is where, if I wanted them, I could turn them on just by pressing that button there. That means that would now be on and it would show up, but I don't want it, so I'll turn it off. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to very quickly, I'm going to tune up this Telecaster with the Polytune. Yeah, tune up the Telecaster with the Polytune and tune it up with the StroboStomp and see what difference if any there is. This is my E, which I'd already tuned, so it's I'll just say it's slightly flat. So let me just bring it down from flat, bring it up to. So I think it's tuned according to the Polytune. Now let's see what the StroboStomp is telling me. So there we have it. Now it does take a little bit of getting used to if you've never used one before. It's you know, sort of micro adjustments to make those, to make that the strobe stop. As it turned out, the Polytune did quite a good job. It was fairly accurate. There's a little bit of movement, but probably not much more than the movement you're going to get using the StroboStomp anyway. So I think the worst, the one that was most out of tune was probably the G string, which is fairly common in most guitars, particularly in Les Paul type guitars, although that's not a Les Paul type guitar, but you know what I mean, if you know anything about guitars. Okay, so the only other thing to mention on this is it does have 3 different modes. So let me just unplug it, and at the back, on the battery compartment, you can see, so underneath the battery there is a little switch, so you can just see it there, and it has 3 settings. It has TB, which is true bypass, so the signal will come in from the right hand side, and the tuning circuit will only be engaged when the switch is depressed, and that will cut out the signal going out to your amp, and it will just engage the tuning circuit. Yeah, and the second one, which is BB for buffered bypass, which works in pretty much the same way as true bypass. When the foot switch is depressed, the signal is cut off, it doesn't go to your amplifier, and it's processed by the tuning circuit, and when you bypass the tuning circuit, the signal passes through, and it goes from your guitar out through the box without going through the tuning circuit, out to your amplifier. But it's been buffered and it's been enhanced slightly. I'm not going to go to the in-depth ins and outs of buffered tuners or buffered pedals, but basically it's to prevent any signal loss sort of further down the line. So it increases the level of the signal slightly before it goes off to the amplifier, so that if you're using long cable runs or lots of pedals on a pedal board, it won't suck out the tone that you're pushing in from the guitar. And then the third one, which on here is called MM, I think it is basically metered bypass. So what that does is when you press the foot switch, the signal is cut off, it doesn't go to your amp anymore, and the tuning circuit is engaged, and it all lights up on the screen, and you can tune your guitar. And then when you bypass the tuning circuit, you're not actually bypassing the tuning circuit. What you're doing is you're allowing the signal to go from the tuning circuit out to the left hand side of the pedal, and therefore to your amp, so that your signal then gets through again. But it also keeps the display on screen, so you can have it on all the time basically. So when you're still sending signal all the way through to the amp, you can quickly look down, and if you think you're out of tune, you think, because it tracks very quickly, and you can play a note and it will tell you what note you're playing, and whether or not it's in tune. So you can monitor your signal as it goes through the tuner, so the tuner's always engaged. But nevertheless, when you press the foot switch, you are muting the signal going out to the amp. Hopefully that made sense to you. It made sense to me, and I'm not a technical expert in any way, shape or form. yeah, tried to give you in layman's terms basically as to how this pedal works and what it does. I think it might have gone out of focus a little bit time on the close-ups of the actual pedal. However, hopefully you'll be able to see most of what you needed to see. There's plenty of literature out there on a pedal like this. So I guess I need to answer the question, is this pedal worth £93.33? I think it is. As I said earlier on, I've only had a bit of a play with it. I've used it to tune up a few guitars. I haven't used it in a rehearsal or live setting yet, but once you're used to the strobe and the rotation of those indicators, you can tune up very quickly, very easily, and it's got some great functionality. I mean, more so than I'm not saying, I'm not saying the Polytune is not a good tuner, and I'm not saying there aren't other good tuners out there, but they're all relatively, most of them can be quite expensive. So would I be wasting my money if I bought a different tuner? Potentially, for 20 or 30 quid more, you could get the added functionality, with the sweetened tunings, the ability to store presets, so that you can go from, as I say, from a bass to a guitar. It does mandolins, it does violins. It does, the ability to save those presets and flick to them basically well, actually it's the flick of a string, as you saw. Really, really nice. And it is important, to be accurately tuned, isn't it? Particularly in a live band setting, you've got all the time in the world when you're recording and tracking guitars in a studio. You can take as much time as you want. Ideally, every member of your band, well, all the guitarists in your band, your bass, rhythm, lead, should all be tuning from the same tuner, so that you've got an accurate reference and a consistency there. And I would recommend they should all be tuning from a Peterson StroboStomp. So if you've liked the video, please hit that like button. Hit subscribe if you want to see more videos about the sort of stuff I'm getting up to on my musical journey. And then you'll get notifications. And so, yeah, hit like, subscribe and all that good stuff. And I'll see you next time.